Kakadosh, Boker Tov. We are on Masechet Taanit Daf 24a1. We were just on the bottom of Kav Gimel Mubeh, where the Gemara says, Rabbi Yossi Baravin, Havashriya Kamed Rabbi Yossi Min Yukra Vata Lekameh, Shavke, and he left him and he went in front of Ravashi. Yom Achad, one day, Shamed de Kagadi, so Rabbi Yossi Baravin heard Ravashi that he was saying as follows. Amar Shemuel, it says Shemuel, Hasholet Dag Min Hayam B'Shabbat. If somebody's going to take out a fish from the water on Shabbat, Kevin Shiavashva, once the ore of the fish, once it became dried up, kesela, like a sela, which is like basically the matbea, a coin of a sela, chayav, you're going to be chayav a korban chatat. Amalei, he comes and he says, Velema more, why don't we just say ben snapirav? Ben snapirav means in between the fins. Okay, so therefore, then for sure the fish is going to die, and then a person is going to be chayav. Amalei, he says, Velosavle more dahi, Rabbi Yosef ben Rabbi Avi namara. What? He doesn't hold of that which Rabbi Yosef bar Avin comes and he said it in his name. Amalei comes and he says, Ananihu, I am him. Right? You're saying it in my name. I am him. Amalei, so he comes, right? And he tells him, what? You weren't in front of Rabbi Yosef ben Yukrat? Yeah? You weren't in front of Rabbi Yosef ben Yukrat? This. Amalei comes and he says, what? You were always used to go to the shiur of Rabbi Yosef ben Yukrat. Amalei, he says, yes. So why did you leave the shiur and you came over here? He says, if somebody can come and he's not going to have mercy on his own son or his own daughter, he's going to have mercy on me? Obviously not. A person by nature has more mercy on their son and daughter, more than what they have mercy on anybody else. So if it's like that, so obviously, right? I'm not going to stay in the shiur if he's not going to have mercy on me. He doesn't have mercy on my own son, my own daughter, right? So for sure not. What was the story of the son? Remember one more time, we're talking about the story of the son and the daughter. Basically this, right? Again, this Rabbi Yosef Baravin that used to learn from Rabbi Yosef Min Yukrat. Okay, so he left the shiur and he went to Ravashi because of the story of the daughter. The son and the daughter. What was the story of the son and the daughter that he didn't have mercy on his own son and daughter? So therefore, said Rabbi Yosef Baravin, he's obviously not going to have mercy on me, so I'm going to go to another shiur. So Bere Mahi, what exactly is the story of the son? Yom Achad Avu Agrele Agida Bedavra. One day, Rabbi Yosef Min Yukrat was working, right, to work in the field. Okay, Naga Lehu Velo Aitilu Rifta. And it became nighttime, and he still didn't give them bread to eat. Yeah. So Amru Lebrei, the Pauline said to his son, Kafinam, we're hungry. They were sitting under a te'ena tree, a fig tree, right? That it still wasn't the time for it wasn't ripened, the fruits. Amar, he said, te'ena, chotzi perotayich v'yochlu poale abba. So he went and he said, te'ena, please, your fruit should already bear forth. They should already come forth, in order that the workers of my father should come and they should be able to eat. Apiku ve'achlu came out and they were able to eat. Adahachi v'hachi, while this was happening, right? Atavua. So the father came with the bread. Amar lehu, he says, lotin ketu batatachu, right? Don't come and start thinking about these different things. The reason why I was late is because I was doing a mitzvah. And I didn't have time. I was busy doing a mitzvah until now. Amrule, they went and they told him, Rachmana lishpanecha, right? Hakadosh Baruch Hu should satiate you. Lizbacha, he should make you satiated, just like your son made us satiated. Amar lehu, he says, Mehecha. What does that mean? My son gave you guys to eat? Where did my son give you guys to eat? Amru, they said, this was the story. Amar lo, he says, Beni, my son, ata itrachta konecha leotzi te'ena perotea shelo bizmana. You caused, right? You caused that you cause your creator to do something which is abnormal in order to come, right? And in order to finish, right, the te'ena, not in the proper time. Yasef shelo bizmano. He should die not in his proper time.
Wow.
Right? This was to his own son. His own son. Yeah? So that was the story of his own son. So once the yeah, for people that are paying attention, yeah. So he says, right? So he says like this. He says, if right now he's coming and he's saying this to his own son, imagine if right now his student did something like that. He would imagine what type of a curse he would say to the student. If this was to his own son, so therefore the student was afraid. He didn't want. Why? He knew. There's you don't play with fire, right? Remember, person has to be very, very careful, right, with the words of the tzaddikim. Why? They say one thing and boom. So a person has to be careful. So he was afraid. So now this was his son. What happened now to the daughter? He had a daughter that she was very, very pretty. Yom Achad, it was one day, right? It was one day that the daughter, she was a very beautiful girl. Yom Achad So he went and he saw that there was a guy that was a peeping Tom. You know what that means? He starts looking. He was looking through. He was peeping through, looking through the cracks and crevices. He was trying to look in, right, in order to come and to look at what's the daughter. He wanted to shuf einik. You know what shuf einik is? Yeah, he wanted to. They say in Spanish also shufear. Yeah, it's to look. It's Arabic, right? To start looking with your eyes. Samarlo, he comes and he sees the guy. So the guy is right by the fence of his house, and he's peeping through. So he asks him, "My hi, what's going on over here?" Amale, he says, "Rebbe, im lelochalo zachiti, right? Lirotalo eske." He says, "Well, if I can't take her as a wife, at least I should be zochet to see her." En lanu nishtamesh bahem el lirotam bilvad. Right? There was a famous Bet Yaakov that they put that on the walls. Yeah. So he says, "What does that mean? At least let me see." Yeah. Connection of Chanukah. That's what he said. Yeah. He said, "Well, at least let me see." So what did he say? Amala, he comes and he says to his daughter, "Biti, kametzart lehu lebriyata." You're causing tsar to the briot. You're causing that the people, they're going to. So first of all, that she was mitzayeret to the briot, right? Because he says that he wasn't zochet to take her, but also bnei adam nichshalim ba, right? So people were actually being nichshal. They were stumbling, right, because of her. Shuvi leafrech lefraich. He says he should go back to the dirt. V'ali kashlubich bnei adam, and people shouldn't be nichshal with you. So, right, Rabbi Yosef the Minyokrat. Yeah, Rabbi Yosef. So he says, so that's why he went and he said to Ravashi, he went and he said, "I am the rabbi." Yeah, so he comes and he says, "I am that rabbi." So he says, one thing, if you're the rabbi, you were learning by Rabbi Yosef Minyokrat. What are you coming to me for? That's what Ravashi was telling this rabbi. He comes and he says to Rabbi Yosef Barabi, he says, "What are you coming to me? You were learning by Rabbi Yosef Minyokrat." He says, No. He says, if he didn't have mercy, not on his son and not on his daughter, what's going to happen on me? So what happened? Boom. He went to Ravashi, okay, to learn Torah. So those were the two stories, one of the son and one of the daughter. Okay. Next, another story with Rabbi Yosef the Minyokrat. Yeah, with Rabbi Yosef the Minyokrat. So here it says actually that he did it. He did everything because of the kin'ah. He was obviously a Kanai. It was like like a Yitzhak. Yeah, Yitzhak, but they're right. What? They're very, very. They're justice. Yeah, that's what it is. They're very. So he was doing it obviously from Kinav, Shmirat Mitzvot, and everything. But he says he shouldn't have come and start, cursing her. He should have just made a curse like that. She should become ugly, like the previous story. You remember about the one that his wife was ugly. He went and he blessed him that the wife should become pretty. But then she was becoming. She was mistalbet alav. She was showing, off in front of the husband. Now the husband's an ugly guy. So what happened? So then he had to bring her back to become ugly again. So the same thing. So all these things, he could have just said that, right? He didn't have to kill her. You understand? So because of that, he just says he went to learn by the other one. Havaleu chamna, right? He had a chamor. Yeah. So Rabbi Yosef Minikrat had a chamor. Kedahavu agre lekol yoma, right? When they used to come and rent it every single day. Leorta havu meshadlelu agra gaba. So in the nighttime, they used to return the chamor with the schirut on top of it. So the money of the schirut was with the chamor, and they used to return it every day. And he used to come on his own. So imagine, right? It was this guy, he beat Tesla. Yeah, what happened is that it's a self-driving car. Here's a self-driving chamor. Right? What does that mean? It's self-driving chamor. Right? The self-driving the chamor, right? At least the car has a little bit of a moah. Yeah. So he says the self-driving chamor. What happened is that he used to come to his house automatically. So what did the guys used to do? They used to finish using it. Okay, we finish. Here's the money. They tie it up on top of the chamor. Boom. And he used to self-drive right back to its owner's house. Right? That's what used to happen every single day. Right? No. That's what I'm saying. It's a self-driving chamor. He was much smarter. Yeah. Vitafula ubatzrile lo atya. If the guy put a little bit too much money or too little money, the chamor will not come back home. He would just stay placed. Yeah, because he was an accountant also. Right? He was an accountant also. A little bit too much. Yeah, he sholech et hakesef im hamor. But now, the more than that, the hamor was so smart that he already knew if it was too much or too little, he wouldn't go back. So yom achad inshu zuga de sandale. One day they forgot a zug of na'alaim, sandalim, on top of the hamor. Velo azla. He didn't go back until they took it. And then he went to his master. Okay, so this is again the story of Rabbi Yosef ben Yukra. Obviously, I think the story was just showing us that we weren't talking about a regular, just Joe Schmor, a regular, guy. No, we're talking about one of the big tzaddikim, the mamash, that is chamor, right? Was something incredible, that they didn't want to be over in the surim and everything, like mamash, something incredible. Elazar ishbarta. So it says over here, some people say ishbartuta or ishbarta, fine. Elazar ishbarta. Kadhavu chazule hu legabet tzedakah. Right, when the Gabet Tzedakah would see him, avutashu mineh, right, when the Gabet Tzedakah, they used to actually hide from him because they knew, techol ma'idava gabe ya'ivleu. The guy was such a big tzaddik. The Gabet Tzedakah, usually the Gabet Tzedakah, they see rich people or they see people, what do? They run after them. They mean naplim aleim, right? They jump on them. What happened? Here you had a case, right, where it's mamash the exact opposite. The Gabet Tzedakah would see this Elazar Barta, and they would run away from him. Why would they run away? Because they already knew that any money that he would have, he would give them everything. Mamash, he would give them everything, right? Okay, and obviously, everything he would give them, right? So fine. Here in the footnote, he already brings on the question. What? No, because they already knew that it was a problem because they knew that it was not normal. You understand? You don't give all your money away. You keep some money. Here anyway, that's if somebody's not l'shem shamayim. Person's l'shem shamayim, right? He also has to make sure of the person, right? If a person's so then, but if another person, he has to understand. So he has to do that. So he comes and he says like this: Yom achad havasalik l'shuka lemizbar nedunya librateh. One day he was going to the shuk to purchase money for the nedunya for his daughter. So again, the Gabet Tzedakah, they see him, they ran away. Azal verat batraihu. He ran after them. Amal leun, he told them, Ashbeitu b'mayaskitu. You have to swear to me. What are you guys collecting for? Right? Don't play games. Swear to me. What are you guys collecting for? Samrule, they said, biyatom v'yitoma. For a yatom and a yitoma to get married. There was a yatom, an orphan, and an orphaness, right? They were getting married. So Amala, and he said, Havoda shein kudmin lebiti. They come before my daughter. What happened? Shakal kol dava b'adaihu. Right? Ba'adeh v'yavlehu. He took everything that he had of the money and he gave it to them. Gave them everything. Everything that he had. Pashu be'echad zuzeh. So he had left over one zuz. Zavan be'chite. He bought a little bit of chitim. Right? With that little bit of the chitim, right, of the wheat, that's what he wanted to make the Suda. So imagine all the money that he collected, right, that he had, he saved up, he gave it to them. Now his daughter is going to get married with kernels of wheat. Right? That's what he prepared. He went to his house and he threw them into the Osara Tavua. Right? He threw them inside of the storage house of the grains. Atai Devitu, right? So the wife came, the Amrala Librate, and she told her daughter, Ma'itavu, what did your father bring? Amrala, she told her, whatever he brought, he threw it into the storage granary. So the wife comes, she wants to open up the storage granary. They was so packed of wheat that it was already filling up the door. She wasn't able to open up. Mamash, the seat of the door wasn't able to open up. It wouldn't open up the door because there was so much wheat. So the daughter went to the Bet Midrash. And she told her father, look and see what your beloved one did to you. Who's your beloved one? Amala, he told her, he said, is that what Hashem did? He swore. It's all Ekdesh. Everything goes to Ekdesh. You only get like what a poor person gets. That's what he told his daughter. Yeah, it's a powerful story. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Rabbi Yehuda Nesiyah. No. This one. Rabbi Yehuda Nesiyah. Rabbi Yehuda, the son of Rabbi Gamliel, the son of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Okay, so this is the Rabbi Yehuda, the son of Rabbi Gamliel, the son of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, right? So again, because many times you name the name of the grandfather. So the one was, right, his name was Rabbi Yehuda, the father was Rabbi Gamliel, and the grandfather was Rabbi Yehuda again. Gazar Taanita, so he was Gozera Taanit. Why? Because it wasn't raining. So he started praying, and it didn't rain. Amar says Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, Kama Ika Mishmuel Haramati. What difference is there between Shmuel Haramati and Yehuda ben Gamliel? Right? Why? The Shmuel Haramati used to pray by himself, and all of a sudden, boom, it used to start raining. And I'm coming, wallow, right? Nothing's happening. Oy lo lador sheken nitka, right? Woe to a generation that they're nitku, that they were stuck in such a situation. Oy lo lamish shalta biyamav kach. Woe to a parnas that this is what's happening during his daytime, right? Which means that they would come and they would put it on the parnas, because at the end of the day, it's the parnas that he's the one that's lacking. Yeah. So he comes and he says, right? Chalash tate, right? V'ata mitra. So what happened? Chalash tate. So right. So all of a sudden, chalash tate. Right. So he comes and he says, right? What does it mean chalash tate? He became, right? He became chalishut dat. How do you say chalishut dat? Chalishut dat means is that he became upset. He was like, so then it came the rain. Okay. Yeah, which means that he became like upset. He became depressed. So the Ben Nesiya Gazar Tanita, Velo Edinhu Rav Yochanan Reshakish. So once they did a Ta'anit Sibur from the Bet Nasi, and they didn't tell Rav Yochanan Reshakish. Letzafra Odinu, but they told him in the morning. So Amar Le Reshakish, the Rabbi Yochanan says Rabbi Shakish to Rabbi Yochanan, Halo Kabina La Meorta. He says, well, we didn't accept it yesterday. Amalei, he says, Anam Batrayu Geraninan. We are nigrar after them, which means usually, right, a Ta'anit, we have to accept it upon ourselves the day before. Correct? That's what we usually have to do. So when we're going to accept it the day before, but here he says, what happens is that here what happens is now is we're not accepting, we didn't accept it upon ourselves because they only told us in the morning about the Ta'anit. So he says, no, but we are nigradim, we are going to be going after all the other rabbis. Since the rabbis, they went and they accepted the Ta'anit, we go after them, that we also accepted upon ourselves the Ta'anit. So once it happened that the Bet Anasi, they made a Ta'anit, and it wasn't raining. So so the Mother Shaya, the youngster of the yeshiva, right, he comes and he taught us the following braita. If it's going to be that the eyes of the congregation, they did an accident. There's a mashal, this is a parable to a kala, to a bride that she's in her father's house. As long as her eyes are beautiful, you don't have to check anything else. That means the first thing that you check are the eyes. If she has beautiful eyes, you don't have to check anything else in her body. Yeah? So he says, but if her eyes are bad, then you should check the entire body. Right? So what does that mean? So there's a beautiful kli yakar. The kli yakar, right, is on the Torah. When the Torah says right, and then it says says the kli yakar, he brings down this Gemara in Ta'anit Kavdaled Amudalef, which is we just mentioned now. The kala shenei yafot enet tzricha b'dika, and there he explains that what it means is enei yafot ba'urchim b'gemilut chasadim, which means that if you have a kala, if you have a girl that she's good in achnasat urchim, so then what happens is that you don't have to check anything else. You already know that she's a tzaddik, because if she's going to be very, very nice with chesed, and that's why Eliezer, and that's why everybody was checking in chesed, because once you have that you check into chesed, everything else is going to be perfect. You don't need to check anything else. And that's the explanation in this Gemara. Okay? Right? He comes and he says, right, the avadim of the Nasi. So they put a sudar on his savar of this Oshaya, and they were causing him suffering. So the people of the city told them, Shavke, leave him alone. Because that's also going to cause us sufferings. Since we see that everything that he does is Hashem Shamayim, lo amru lemide v'shavkin aleh. So then, okay, they left it, right, and right, they left him, and that's it. Atunamu, right, atunami shavkuhu. So you guys also leave him, which means like this. Basically, he went and he told them, right, there's something wrong here, because he was telling them, so who are the eyes of the congregation? The leaders of the congregation, the Masechet Taanit, they weren't answered. So he went and he said, Mashal lekalash, it all depends on the leaders. If the leaders are good, so then we're going to have rain. If the leaders are not, so then they're not going to have the rain. So the servants of the house of the Nasi, they went and they were beating him up, right? They were causing him suffering. So then the people of the city, they said, no, leave him. Why? He does everything l'shem shamayim. And when he does everything l'shem shamayim, you leave him alone. Okay? Fine. Rebbe gazar ta'anita. Rebbe, he did a ta'anit. Velo atamitra, and it didn't start raining. Nachit kameh ilfa. So what happened is that Ilfa went right down in front of the Teva. Remember yesterday we spoke about why does it go down in front of the Teva. The Amrila, and some people say it's Rabbi Ilfi, right? It was a Rabbi Ilfai, or here it says Rabbi Ilfai, not Ilfa. It was Rabbi Ilfai Amar. Mashiva Ruach, right? He just said Mashiva Ruach, then Ashav Zika, and it started, right? It started, right? How do you call it? The Ruach started coming and blowing, the wind. Morida Geshem, he said Morida Geshem. Atamitra, it started raining. Amarle, he went and he said, Melvadach, who are you? What do you do? Right? Well, what's going on here? Mamash, you just said boom and it just starts raining. So he says, Amarle, he told him, Dairana Bekusta Dechika. I live in a kfar of Aniim. I live in a village of Aniim. We don't even have wine for Kiddushin of Dalah. But I go out of my way to bring wine for Kiddushin of Dalah. And I see everybody, right, of the kfar, right, when I do the Kiddushin of Dalah on the wine. That means that even though we don't have nothing, nobody has, I go out of my way until I get wine for Kiddushin of Dalah, and then I go out of my way and I do it for everybody. So everyone's tzedek with Kiddushin yain, right, with Kiddushin of Dalah with yain, from his wine. Okay? The importance. Right? As you remember, I told you already. That's why it's important to do Avdalah with wine as well. Okay, not only just Kiddush, but also wine. But also Avdalah. Rav ikla lehu atra. Rav, he went to a certain place where there was a batzoret. Batzoret means there was a hunger. The gazar ta'anita, and he was gozer ta'anit. Okay, velo tamitra, and it didn't rain. Nachit kameh shlicha de tzibura. So there was a shir tzibur that went in front of him. Amar mashiv loch l'shav zik, amor yidu geshem tamitra. Amale, he comes and he says, Ma'ivadach, what do you do? Amale, he says, Mikre de dar de kani. He says, I teach children. I'm a Rebbe. I teach children. Yeah, umakrina libne aniyeh kibne atideh. And I teach the poor people just like I teach the rich people. Meaning not because it's a rich person's son, I'm going to teach him differently than a poor person's son. I teach them all the same. Right? And anybody that cannot pay, I don't take any wages. And I've got a whole bunch of different. Here it says it's like ponds of fish, right? That's where I get my food from. And any child, right, that he goes and he doesn't learn, right? I come and I give him fish to bribe them. Yeah. Nowadays they give gift cards. Yeah. Once upon a time they would give fish to come and to bribe the children, right, in order to come and learn. Until he would come and he would come to learn. So basically, first of all, he wouldn't take, right? Exactly, sushi. Right? He wouldn't take money from the poor people. Plus, he even used to be torem from his own money to get people, to get the children to come and to learn. Rav Nachman gazar ta'anita. So now we understand why, right? They were, what's it called? They were such a tzaddikim that they were able to get their tefillot, right, to get accepted. Rav Nachman gazar ta'anita. Rav Nachman, he was gozer ta'anit. Right? Comes, he asked, and nothing. It didn't start raining. Shaklu al Nachman chavotu min guda le'ara. So they went, right? Amar Rav Nachman came and he said, Shaklu al Nachman, take Nachman, right? Chavotu min guda le'ara. Take him and throw him on the ground, right? Throw him down, right? That means take him down. Chalash tateh. Once he was chalash tateh, then atamitra, right? Then all of a sudden it started raining, which means that you see many times the big rabbis, even they themselves, they were upset because how could it be, they make a Taanit and it's still not raining. So what happened? He went and he said they should take him down from his place, right? You heard? Take him down from his place. But why? They weren't accepted. Huh? That means that they should take him. Demote him. Yeah. the motive. So what happened? He got upset, right? And then Atamitra, it started raining. Rabba Gazar Tanita. Rabba also was Guzera Tanit, but Atamitra. He asked for mercy, they didn't come the rain. Amru, they went and they said, Rav Yehuda Kiava Gazar Tanita Mitra. He says, 1 second. But when Rav Yehuda used to do it, right? It used to rain. Amar Lehu, he says, Mayavi, what am I going to do? It's if it's going to be because the differentiation between the tefillot, between the limud Torah. We are actually even better than them. But during the years of Rav Yehuda, called Tnuya, all the limudim, right? 24b, all the limudim, benizikin was only nizikin. But we are learning in 60 Dre Mishnah, right? When they used to come to Uksi, Hayisha Koveshet, right? Yerek Bigdira, right? To the Mishnah that a woman is going to come and she's putting the vegetables in a kedira. Okay, so it says over here, it says the Amnina and Sabi says the team Shkavsham Tapeon to the Torin that it's going to be pure. Amar Aviyot Rav Shmuel Kachazina Acha. We see the Aviyot of Rav Shmuel. We're learning 13 different learnings of yeshivot in Uksi. But when Rav Yehuda used to take off one shoe, it would start raining. The Anan Katzavchin and Kuliyoma. We were just screaming all day. And nobody pays attention. So Yimishum Avada. Now, if you're going to tell me it's because of the actions, if you see something, tell me. So, but what are the Gedolei Ador going to do if their door is not going to be good? Which means that it's not the Gedolei, right? It's not basically the Gedolei Ador, right? It's the door in itself. You understand?
They're not just, they don't have
it's their generation. It's not the Gedolei Ador. It's the generation that's not, right? And by the way, if you remember, right, I think this is what we were learning, what I spoke about on Shabbat. Yeah, this is the story of Aleph. This is what I spoke about on Shabbat. Because I said on Shabbat, right, we spoke about Mesirut Nefesh, right? And the concept of Mesirut Nefesh is basically giving your utmost, your true dedication to something. So that was the reason why their generation had all the miracles and they didn't have it afterwards. So we spoke about this on Shabbat. This is the famous Gemara, and this is the exact same Gemara. Okay? Fine. Rav Yehuda. Chaza now betrei. Rav Yehuda, he saw two people, that they were doing hefkerut and bread. Amar, right, said Rav Yehuda, Shma mina ika sova balma. I see if they're playing around with bread, obviously there has to be a lot of sova in the world. Meaning if they're playing around with food, obviously there has to be a lot of food. Yaivene, so he put his eyes, to have a kafna, and all of a sudden became a hunger in the world. Yeah, Amril le Rabbanan le Rav Kahana bedred Nechunya. So Rabbanan said to Rav Kahana, the son of Nechunya, Shameh, the Shamash of Rav Yehuda, more dishkiach kameh, that he was usually accustomed to being in front of Rav Yehuda. Niasye de lepuk bepitcha de samuch leshuka, right? Bring him towards the entrance of the shuk, in order that he's going to see until mamash that they're suffering. They're suffering. There's nothing in the shuk. So he took him out. He said, what's going on here? They said, he said, on the Kusav Tamarim, they're standing because there's nothing, there's no food. Amar, he said, wow, there's a hunger in the world. Take off my shoe. He took off one of his shoes. It started raining. When he wanted to take off the other shoe, Eliyahu came and he said, this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu said. If you're going to take off your other shoe, you're going to destroy the world with so much rain. That means all you had to do was take off one shoe. All you had to do, take off one shoe. All of a sudden, he was going to take off the other shoe. He's going to destroy the world. Eliyahu had to stop him. Stop, you're going to destroy the world. Why? Take off a shoe. That's all you had to do. That was a Mesirut Nefesh that they did. Right? The secret behind their success. Yeah? Now he comes. Amar Amari, Beret de Bat Shmuel. Says Ramari, the son of the Bat Shmuel. Okay? So he says over here, okay, Ana vakaimna aguda de nehar Papa. I was standing by the river edge, right? That the name was Papa. And that day that they brought Rav Yehuda the rain. Chazai le malache, diidma le malache. I saw angels that they appeared to be like malachim, right? The malachim are not malach, right? The malach, yeah, it's with a chet. So these are the sailors. The kamaiti chala umalun hu le'arbe. They were bringing chol and they were filling up the sfinot. And by a miracle, it changed into kemach solet. It changed into fine flour. Everyone came to buy. Amar lehu, they went in the review that told the same people, don't buy from this kemach. Why? Because this is Maaseh Nisim. He didn't want to benefit from Maaseh Nisim. Right? He didn't want to benefit from miracle. This was a miracle. Tomorrow they're going to come a whole bunch of sfinot with chitim and everything, and then it's going to stop with meaning that they were going to start benefiting from the miracle. Said no, don't benefit from miracles. Okay. Rava Ikla. By the way, that's the famous question that everyone asks to do with the dam. Makat dam. Everyone knows that they became rich because the Jews, right? They were having water instead of dam, but then they were selling it to the Egyptians, and that's how they were making money. The question is, how do you benefit from Maaseh Nisim? So anyway, so he says, Rava Ikla le Agronia. Rava, he came and he visited Agronia. Gazar Taanita, right? He went and he made a Taanit. Lo Atamita, and it didn't rain. Amar lehu, Rava said to the city, Bitu kule alma betanit vaychu. Everyone has to stay in Taanit the next day as well, right? What? Lemachad, the next day, Amar lehu, he told them, Nika de chelma. Somebody saw a dream, lema, you have to tell me. Amar lehu Rabbi Lazar Magaroni, Rabbi Lazar told the people that Didi Krainu Chelma, I did have a dream. Shlam tav lerav tav meribon tav. Shalom tov lerav tov min adon tov. Temituve metiv lame. Because of his tuvo, he gives to his nation. So when he heard that, Amar Shema mina et ratzon mevarechim. So now it's an et ratzon. So he went and he said, the fact that the person went and he dreamt about a good person that is doing good for the nation, and he come from a master of a nation, right? Everything was good. So he says now is a good time to come and to pray. So he prayed and it came rain. There was a person, right, that he was chayav nidui or malkut, here it says, right, in the bed din of Rava, right? Why? Mishum de bal kutit, because he had relations with a goya, right? So they would give makot, right? Remember, obviously it's karet, right, and there's makot. So therefore, person has relations with a goya, they get makot on the spot. So what happened was, because here it says that if it was only derech znut, it's makot. If he got married to her, right, civilly, so then it's actually much more, because then obviously, that's mamash Torah. Okay? So nagde Rava umit.
Since when the
what? Says the Gemara, nagde Rava umit. Rava comes, he tells them, give him a coat, and the guy died. Ishtama minta be Shavul Malka. So it was heard in the house of Shavul Malka, right? That this was obviously that they went to the kingdom basically. And they said, look, right, he went and he was killed. So they wanted to cause Rava problems. Amra le Ifra Hurmis, he made the Shavul Malka livre. So the Ifra Hurmis went and she told her son, Shavul Malka, Shavur Melech, Lo lehavelach esek dvarim bada yudoe. Don't get involved with the Jews. Techol man debayim mimarayhu yahiv lehu. Because everything that they ask from their master, he gives to them. Right? Which means the mother, which is the mother of the king, tells her son, don't get involved. You understand? It's true, he went and he killed the guy, right? Because he basically went with a goya, but don't get involved. Why? Everything they ask for, they're going to be answered. Amar la, so he told her, what does that mean? Bayan rachameh v'atamitra. When they need rain, they ask and he gives it to them. Amar la, so he tells her, so no, that's the time of rain. What are you talking about? I want them to ask now, in the middle of the summer, which means now it's not the time of rain season. Rain season is the winter time, summertime, right? And now I want them to ask veleta mitra. Shalcha le Rava, so she sent to Rava. Have kavanah and ask for rain. So he prayed, and there was no rain. Amar lefanav, he says, Ribono shel olam, Elohim beoznenu shamanu. Our God with our ears, we heard. What our fathers told us, what you did in their days, right? But we didn't see all these miracles. It came down so much rain until all the marzevs, all the gutters, right, of the city of Tzipori, they were coming down with just so much water. So the father of Rava came to him in a dream and told him, what is there, somebody that's going to bother Hashem so much? Amarle, he says, Shane duchtech, change your place. Shane duchte, so he changed his place where he slept. Lemachar ashkeche demin shampurias tesakine. he saw in the next morning that there was a siman of a sakin on his bed, which means his bed was cut up by the demons because they wanted to kill him. Right? They wanted to mamash kill him. And only because he went to sleep in another bed, he was saved. So his father saved him. Right? His father saved him. Right? Because of what happened. Okay? Next. Rav Papa Gazar Ta'anita. Rav Papa, he had a Ta'anit. Chalash libeh. Yeah? So what happened is that it was, how do you call it? Chalash libeh. Right? Rav Papa, he felt a chulsha. Yeah? Shiraf pinka, the daisa. So he was very weak. So what he did was he swallowed a full cup, a full spoon of daisa, right? Which is basically chitim, right? The daisa, it's like a porridge. Okay, and he prayed afterwards. It didn't rain. So says Rav Nachman to his right. He went and he told him, "Isharif more pinka charita daisa." He says, "You know what? If you're going to eat another spoon, maybe now it'll rain." And he was laughing at him. That I don't understand you. You're supposed to do a ta'anit and then ask for rain. You ate and now you want to ask for rain. You know, maybe if you're going to eat another spoon, maybe now will come down the rain. He was embarrassed. So because of that, he once he gets embarrassed, all of a sudden, he was depressed, and then the rain came down. Now, Chanina Mendoza was walking in the path. And it started raining. He said, he says, what? The entire world, they're benefiting from it. But now Chanina, your son, is going to be in Tzad. It stopped raining. When he went to his house, he says, everyone's suffering. But Chanina, Benachat, and Chanina is going to be good. So then it started raining. Yeah, so he switched it, whichever one was good.
Why was he suffering?
Huh? Because it was raining and he's walking on the path. He's suffering. Right, so then he went and he said that. But when he got home, he's going to say is a question. What? Chanina is going to be calm and everyone else is suffering? What's going on? So then it starts raining for everybody. Yeah? So Amar of Yosef says of Yosef, Maya Hanya Letzlota de Kohen Gadol. What does it help us at Tefillah of Kohen Gadol? No, I didn't say to call the Kohen Gadol. So what does it help us at Tefillah of Kohen Gadol? Right? Legabe Rav Chanina Mendoza to Rav Chanina Mendoza. Why? Because you see what's happening to Rav Chanina Mendoza. All he has to do is this one sentence, and it just starts raining. Tefillah. So what is the Tefillah of Kohen Gadol? We learned in the Mishnah in Yoma. Hayami Palel Tefillah Ketzara b'Bayit HaChitzon. He used to pray Tefillah Ketzara in the outer, right, outside of the Kodesh Kodashim. My Metzale, what would he pray? Ravi Barada, Rav Barada Damni, Tarvaihu, Ravi Barada and Rav Barada both said, Ishmed Rav Yudah, name of Yudah, Yiratzum Lefnecha Shlun Shtei Shanaz Shen Azo, Yeshuma Ushuna. It should be a raining a year with a raining year. Right? The Shchuna is with the Chama, with the warm. Right? Warm and rainy. Okay? Shechuna, Maliatai, says the Gemara, 1 second. If it's going to be a hot year, is that something good? Like a warm year is good? Adrab, the opposite. It's even bad. Ella im shechuna tegeshuma tula. No. If it was supposed to be very, very hot, so then change it to a year which is going to be with rain and good, with dew and everything for the fields. And it should not come in front of you the tefillah of the people which are going by. Ravacha bered Rava Mesayim Mishmed Rav Yehuda. Ravacha, the son of Rava, came and he used to finish the name of Yehuda. Lo yadeh avid shultami devet Yehuda. We should not lose the power, right, from Bet Yehuda. This is, by the way, the tefillah that we say on Kippur, right, by Musaf, right. Yisrael should not need parnasah, not from one another and not from another, right, nation. This is in the Seder Avodah. That's why the Kohanim, they try to buy it with all the money in the world. Yeah? Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Says Rav Yehuda in the name of Rav. Bechol yom vayom, and every single day, bat kol yotzet ve'omeret. Bat kol comes out and says, a heavenly voice, kol ha'olam kulo nizom mishul chanina beni. The entire world is being sustained because of Chanina, my son. Chanina beni dayo bekav v'charuvim eret Shabbat l'Shabbat. And Chanina, my son, is enough for him, just one kav of charuvim, of carobs, right? You know, from Erev Shabbat to Erev Shabbat. That's all that he needed. Yeah, that's why he was so poor. Mamash, this is what he had. That's all he needed. His wife used to heat up the oven every single Erev Shabbat. The shadya ktarta, she used to throw inside of it, right, something just to make like heat come up. Keilu, that she's she's baking bread. But there was nothing inside, so she used to put something inside. Keilu, that something is heating up. Nishum kisu, but she was embarrassed. She had a bad neighbor, right? You know, it happens sometimes. You have bad neighbors. Right? So what happened? Amra, she said, Michti Adana, I know that she has nothing in the oven. So what's she doing? What's she doing? Azda v'tarfa bava. So she comes and she knocks on the door. Ikasa, she becomes all embarrassed. Ve'ayla lidrona. So she comes inside, right? And now all of a sudden, basically the neighbor comes and she wanted kilu. You know what? I want to come inside. I want to, and she, well, yeah, to embarrass her. What happens? All of a sudden, she goes inside. There was a huge miracle. She saw that the tanur was full of bread. All of a sudden, full of bread. The agana melelisha, and the kli lisha, the utensil of the kneading, was full. Amrala, she told her, planita, aiti masa, quickly bring the marda. You know the marda is the pala, right? It's like the stick, the pel, right? The spatula, right? In order to get the bread out. Your bread is burning. Amrala, she said, afana lehachiayli, right? He says, that's why I came in also. I came inside to get the pala. That's what I did. Tana, we learned, right? She didn't say that only to save herself, right, from the busha. He said, but no, she actually did that because she was going inside because she was actually waiting to see the behemet. She was going to take out bread, even though there was nothing inside. Okay, so Bezrat Hashem, we continue tomorrow.